All right. Welcome into the half, everybody. My name is Aaron Montgomery, and you can find me at oursuccessgroup.com. This amazing gentleman next to me is Mr. Erich Campbell, and you can find him at erichcampbell.com. Erich, it has been a great day already. How are you doing, sir?
Doing fantastic. Can't help but be doing fantastic after the Reggie's announcement show. If you guys weren't on with the two other guys earlier this morning, we announced the Reggie winners, the Reggie Awards. And the first thing I'm going to say is congratulations to my co-host here, Aaron Montgomery, who won the best ambassador for the industry. And like I said, guys, this is something that is listener voted. We did not know ahead of time. So it was cool to watch that and get to be able to present that to you, man. So congratulations. And congratulations, obviously, to everybody.
Yeah.
But I had to say it while I had you here. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you, man. I'm still blown away, and I so appreciate it. Just so grateful to be recognized, and again, to be recognized for the Erich Campbell Award is pretty darn cool.
Yeah, it feels weird when it's your own show sometimes, but at the same time, you're like, it's awesome to hear because the
Yeah,
votes are coming in from all over the place. Like the votes
yeah,
are coming in from places you don't expect. So it's pretty cool to see that happen. And
it
like I
is.
said, I was really glad to see you there. And we had so many other great winners
Oh,
and people who are nominated too. I mean,
yeah,
gosh, the people from all over the industry, including our own. Ramona, who says,
yeah,
"Good morning and congrats on another great Reggie event." Ramona had a couple of great nominations in there. We had folks
yeah.
from the Embroidery Nerd. We had Jeff and Adam Fuller. We had
Yep.
Lisa Shaw, a good friend of mine. We had tons of folks. So not just like the folks who won today, but all of the other nominees. We had just an amazing crowd of people who were getting recognized for the Reggies. So it
Yeah.
was just a great show and a great event as usual.
Yep, definitely. So thanks. And then the fact that everybody made time to
Yeah.
come and join us, that was really awesome. Even Ashley, who wasn't Ashley from Artistry, was not able to join us live because she was like at a doctor's appointment. But
Yeah.
she went so far as to just go ahead in the parking lot of the doctor's office, record an acceptance speech for us. So that was pretty
She
darn cool.
did.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. So
that's the cool thing is that I think without kind of belaboring it or patting ourselves on the back, I think that Two Guys and the Reggies offers this great way for us to kind of within the industry from the inside
yeah,
congratulate each other, sometimes ourselves,
yeah,
and to talk about all this stuff that we think is great. In fact, I think one of the best things about this year, if you guys didn't see it, was that everybody gave a piece of advice, and rarely was that piece of advice just about, oh, this is how I did this great thing that I did for the awards. It was like legitimate advice about what they had to go through or things that they had to learn
yeah,
while they were going into this industry, and whether or not sometimes it was about the community that they were teaching to, or sometimes it was about something that is more on that company side, but mostly it was just really great, solid advice for how they carry on. And so I just really loved that. It was a fantastic show.
yeah, it definitely was a fantastic show. So, all right, well, let's talk to some of the folks tuned in here. And again, for those of you that might be newer to this show, we're here to interact with you guys, questions, comments, whatever you guys want to talk
Yeah.
about. I actually have some random thing that I'll bring up here in a second. But good afternoon to Chuck
Good afternoon,
and
Chuck.
Brett, Brent. Sorry,
Brent's in.
yeah,
Good afternoon,
Brent.
Brent.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Brent. Christine, hello. Mr. Jeff Fuller.
Yes. Hi, Jeff.
Mike said, "Howdy, y'all. Sorry I missed the event this AM." So,
No worries. I hear these things are recorded. If you feel like you desperately want to hear the speeches yourself, you can.
that's right. That's right. The good stuff. Christine says, "I was laughing about the fact that Aaron was recruiting pretty much every winner to be on the show, especially after Terry gave me crap about trolling for guests." Absolutely, yeah. I obviously people want to talk about them, so let's get them on to talk about what they want to talk about. I love it. Yeah, and obviously, Terry was joking about trolling our show. We
Very happy for you to troll the show.
very happy that because I love watching Christine. So if you don't know
Yeah, of
about
course.
Christine's show, you need to check that out. It's
Yep.
called Women and Business Podcast.
Yep.
If
Every
you
Wednesday.
actually search up Women Plus Business, I believe is the best way to search that up and find it. Christine, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you can find it on both Facebook and YouTube at least. But
Yes, indeed.
check that out. And if you are a female, there is a fantastic Facebook group that Christine started called Women in Garment Decorating. So go
Yeah.
search that up. And I tried to get in, but they would not let me in, which is totally understandable. So,
That's always the way to be. Though I want to say while we have him here, Jeff, uh, congratulations for being nominated, and also please tell the rest of the embroidery nerd crew, and especially your son Adam, congratulations. Lots of
Yeah.
votes, lots of interest, and you guys really deserve some kudos. So for sure, make sure that they know. We saw all the movement and all the voting. It was awesome stuff, and Matt over there for his thread converter. So all
Yeah.
great stuff. So while you guys are here, I want to say thank you for participating and promoting the Reggies, and say congratulations. I mean, just because you don't end up on the plaque doesn't always mean this is a bad thing. Because like Christine said, as much as we were joking around about trolling, it's about making these connections. And very obviously on the show, we saw that that's what happens. People make connections
Yeah.
through stuff, and it's incredible to see how these communities we build around our shows, around education, can become something that feeds itself and kind of enriches everybody. And I really
Yeah,
love
yeah. Well, heck, we talked about that with Lori Donovan, right? When she came on our show,
that.
she
Yeah.
had a bigger audience afterwards, and and when people come on the Two Regular Guys show,
Oh yeah.
we get their audience comes and joins, right? So it's like you said, just enriching and growing the community as a whole, and I think that's what is so cool about and honestly, I've not been a whole lot of other places, right? So this decorators community has been pretty much my adult life, my adult career,
Yeah.
but from my understanding of it, there's really not another industry like ours in that where it's so supportive, where there's so many people just trying to lift each other up. And it's not, you can get into other places where it's nasty and cutthroat. And I just don't get that sense in our industry. And that's pretty cool.
Oh no, and that's the thing that I love, even while we're watching this here. And by the way, congratulations to Christine for being nominated as well, because you were
Yeah.
up there for Women in Garment Decorating. But her show is on Facebook and YouTube. There's a Facebook page and YouTube channel. And Ramona, by the way, Ramona has a show too. She's got Coffee and Conversation, where she
Yeah.
talks about embroidery and digitizing on Saturdays. And here she is promoting Christine's show. Christine's show is awesome too. So many great supporting people involved. So here are all these people where you could see us as being a competing space. We all have shows. We all do education. We teach at the conferences, and at the same time, here we are like pumping each other up,
Yeah.
giving each other pats on the back, and making sure everybody goes to see everybody else's shows, goes to see everybody else's classes. I think Aaron's right. That is a rare thing. And the garment decorating industry, the larger decorating industry, I think that we have something pretty impressive here. I don't know. I'd love to talk to the Printing United folks about whether that's true in print as a larger industry. I think as the industry scales up, maybe there's more
Yeah.
competition in the larger spaces. I know that's how it sometimes is in contract decorating too. It's more competitive as you kind of get in that space.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I still feel like, especially in education, especially in the kind of things we were celebrating today, we really are a community that pumps each other up and that tries to make everything better one
Yeah.
way or another.
Yeah. 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 And I said this on the Two Radio Guys show in my
Yeah.
quote unquote acceptance speech, right? That the when we let go of the what's in it for me, it's
Yeah.
amazing how that changes. And I
Absolutely.
feel like that's why our community is so good. Everybody has given up the what's in it for me and realized
Yeah.
that the rising tide does lift all boats. And so
Though I did love it. I just have to make a comment
yeah.
on this.
Yeah, please.
I think it was Lori who was saying we shouldn't be crying over a printer. That was one of her things she says that, and this is what I love, because I say this all
Just
the time. I'm
breathe.
like, I remember being in the industry, being on the shop floor working on stuff, and I finally one day just said there is no such thing as a t-shirt emergency.
That's right.
I
Well,
mean, we could feel like it's an emergency, but very rarely, I mean, unless you're using the darn thing for a tourniquet, the t-shirt's not saving anybody's life or killing anybody.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
not feeding anyone necessarily. The
yeah,
one time it's emergency, we're trying to feed ourselves while we're doing it. That feels a little
yeah,
bit
yeah,
emergent when we're
yeah,
trying to sell things. But we don't even, this is the other thing I always said, is I don't even make the garment and make it pretty.
yeah,
Like that's so it's like I'm not even clothing anybody. I'm just making them enjoy looking at their garment more.
yeah, yeah,
Like that's so it's good for us to sometimes remember. It's great to take ourselves seriously in the fact that we provide this experience where people get to identify themselves and be part of communities and promote their businesses and the clubs and the things that they belong to. And that's wonderful. We make heirlooms and that's great. But we should also let ourselves off the hook once in a while and say, hey, we're giving a lot, we're doing our best, and there's no t-shirt emergency, and we don't need to
yeah,
throw anything out
yeah,
a window.
yeah. Yeah, Terry always says, it's only a T-shirt, nobody gets hurt, right?
Yeah,
And so, but I guess in the same regard, though, in that moment, right, when
of
you
course.
invested a good amount of money
Yeah,
and all this other stuff, in that moment, it certainly feels like
of
an
course.
emergency. So that's where having people like Lori and Steven and Lauren and all the people who are nominated in all the categories, having them around to go, take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the start. Maybe even if you're like, oh, I know all this. Nope, go back to the start from the beginning. Let's just work through this, and you're going to be okay, right? And so I think that's pretty cool.
Well, and honestly, that goes back to the thing Aaron's always trying to teach everybody. That's the E plus R equals O, right? It's the event plus the response equals the outcome. Yeah, we get a chance to choose our responses, and I think
Yep.
I'm not going to say I don't. If anybody else like me has a retail-facing space they've been dealing with in the last month, take that deep breath with me, everybody. If you heard that on
Yep.
the podcast, just let it out. There's
So,
no such
wow.
thing as a t-shirt emergency.
That's right.
Just,
That's
I'm going to say that. I,
I
I
think
think I'm going
somebody
to
should
start
make a
leading some,
yeah.
guided meditations. I have recorded one of those before once, believe it
There
or
you
not.
go. There you go.
Maybe that's something I'll have to start doing for all of us.
Yeah, yeah. I got a couple good ones, so we should.
Rough,
Yeah,
man.
Eric and Aaron's guided meditation journey. I like that.
That could really
That could be a
happen,
new
and I'd
YouTube channel.
be hilarious. I think the
It
problem is
would.
we would start laughing in the middle, but
Yeah,
that might
but
not be so bad.
no, that's probably also good. You can't take yourself too seriously either. All right, let's get back in here.
Yes.
Frank, good afternoon.
By the way, Frank, I just got to say, like Christine says later about it's not always about the awards. I just want to say Frank has been such a tireless promoter for everybody too. So thank you, Frank. He's got his own group, the Willcom Education group that he does, which is awesome. And Frank is just like a tireless promoter out there in the UK, just banging away, sharing everything, getting people on board and helping with education. So Frank's on my award list this year
There
too.
you go. I like it. I like it. That's a good list to be on too, Frank. So, all right. Lyndon says, "Good morning, everybody. Congratulations to all the winners." Agreed.
Yes,
Um,
indeed.
and Jeff says, "Thank you. Adam and I will have a talk when he gets home." So,
Well, there were a
and
lot of people in the comments who were very much on Adam's side and
yeah,
saying he was doing great.
yeah, yeah. Christine says, "Adam is awesome. Jeff is awesome too, but Adam's my favorite." So,
Man, you got replaced so young, Jeff.
yeah, yeah, no kidding.
That's
Um,
rough, buddy.
Jeff says the thread converter is awesome. Yeah, I've heard such good things about that. That's really cool.
Yeah, for sure. For
Um,
sure.
Christine, thanks, Ramona. So kind. Liz, hi from Germany. I love that we're
Hello.
international. Eric,
Love it.
that's
Love to
that,
have you here. Thank you for
you're
listening.
you're bringing the international audience, Eric. I appreciate that. All right. Ramona says we are a great community. This is what were alerting to earlier. That Christine
Yes,
says
yeah.
I wrote something in the Women in Garment Decorating group about how awards are nice, but it's about the good you do, not the awards you win, and that the good still happens even if you aren't necessarily getting recognized for it. And I totally
100%.
agree with that. Yeah, agree.
100%. It's the
100%
people's
for sure.
lives you change along the way. That's the
Yep.
thing. That's the
Yep.
thing always.
Yep. And along those lines, Frank rocks. So there you
Yeah,
go.
Mike says Frank rocks, and can't agree more. I hype Frank up, but seriously, he does a lot of promotion and helping out with everybody's shows and everybody's stuff. He shares a lot, and across boundaries where some people say you shouldn't share in this group, you shouldn't do this. Frank's always been promoting everybody, and so I love to say that. And that's the thing I'm seeing from a lot of these great people who are on our list is that they're promoters, they're helpers, they're
Yep.
boosters,
Yep.
and we need more of that. We need
Yeah,
more
for
of that.
sure. For sure. All right. Well, Eric, I know we've talked. We're not here to just talk about the award show. Any other questions? Any other things you guys want to talk about? Like I
Please,
said, I had some random thought when between shows that I thought I'd bring up if nobody
let's do
had
it.
any. So
Let's
I'm
do
going to
it.
just throw this out there now, but you guys feel free to change the subject as quickly as you want.
Absolutely, we're here for it.
So there's always this big, like, pumpkin spice kick. Now, I don't know where you fall on the pumpkin spice thing, Eric,
All
but
right, all
I
right.
fall on the side of I could do without it. I never liked it, and I'm not a pumpkin spice fan. But
Mhm.
I love this time of year because it gives me an excuse to go heavy on the peppermint and the candy canes. So I I
Okay.
take I take candy canes and I crush them up and I put them in my coffee. So I've got candy cane
Oh,
in here, peppermint. Like,
all
I'm a little
right,
bit upset that McDonald's it does not have their peppermint mocha this year. That's the only
all
thing I
right,
ever
all
buy at
right.
McDonald's, honestly. So, anyways, so
So the debate
let's
is
the
pumpkin
debate is
spice versus peppermint.
versus
Oh,
whatever. What's your category, Eric? Where do you fall?
you know what? It's hard for me. I've got a couple of things. Number one, I do love pumpkin spice stuff, but I'm not a
Ah,
big like pumpkin spice latte guy. I just like spices in general because I also love a very good chai. I'm into it. Love some chai. I love spices in general. Though for those of you who are in the American Southwest, like I am, born and raised in Albuquerque, that's not the flavor I'm looking forward to. I'm waiting for tamales. So for the rest of you people, you can talk about pumpkin spice all day. This is tamale season, and that's what I want. And I'm looking to I'm trying to find who's my local connection this year. I mean, yes, don't get me wrong, love peppermints, love pumpkin spice, love all of that, but green and red chili are more important than any of those things.
Okay. All right.
So green and chicken or red and pork, that's what I'm usually about, and that's what I'm looking for right now. If I don't get some masa in my system very soon, I'm going to be an unhappy man. I've been dieting like crazy. It's been up and down, but tamales are happening, and it just has to happen soon.
All right, that sounds good. I need a good tamale. You don't find the
Come
best
on,
tamales here in the St.
you.
Louis area, but
I was going
who
to say,
knows?
you're
Yeah,
out in
yeah,
Arizona. You have
yeah.
to have had some tamales.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I forgot about that. People would show up and get kind of show up and find
I know.
the tamale truck or the lady that always came
Yeah,
around with tamales. And
tamale
it was
lady.
always this time of year.
When I
Yeah,
was working at a shop, there was always somebody who had the hookup, and right now I'm not. We're working from home a lot. Like I don't have the connection for the tamales like I
yeah,
usually do,
yeah.
and I'm starting to get worried about it.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, let's. Christine says dark chocolate, peppermint candies. Not a pumpkin spice fan. Cinnamon rolls are the bomb, though. So there we go.
Okay, okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Ramona says I recently saw a tamale cake looking thing. I'm not heard of that.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not feeling it yet.
yeah. Christine says I've never had a tamale.
Oh,
Living in northern Michigan, probably not surprising.
it's
Wow,
a travesty against
Eric, you should. Yeah,
humanity.
how do we remedy that? That
I
yeah,
don't know, but it's got to happen. Like, how can a life be truly lived
without a
with
tamale.
a tamale in it? I mean, I don't think you can.
Uh,
But that's just
so,
me.
so we go from meditation to life being hinged upon eating tamales. So I like that.
At least one. I'm sorry, at least
All
one
right.
good
Yeah.
one. But hey,
Well,
that's what I always say.
all right. Well, like I said, folks, you guys feel free to change the conversation
Please, I know we
anytime
goof
you want.
around, but
But I did that is just a thought that I had between shows as I was making my coffee for this show and I'm dumping the
yes.
peppermint in it. I'm like, I love freaking peppermint. Why do I love peppermint so much?
Well,
But
I'll say I love this season as a decorator because this is just for me, this is just the best. This is time for outerwear, which embroidery is like embroider on outerwear, just mwah, fantastic. This is time for mugs and cups, and I'm a mug fan. I have too many mugs, but I always want another one.
yeah.
It's just a fantastic time for decoration and all the holiday gift stuff, personalization.
Yeah.
If you're an embroiderer, getting to do name stuff. Now I know having to do name stuff and getting to do name stuff are pretty much the same thing, but there is some joy in it. Now, I'm a font and typography guy, so like selecting very nice personalization fonts is enjoyable in its own way, despite the frustration of actually doing the work.
Oh. So
So I
not
just
just
gotta say,
Comic Sans all the time? Is that
no,
I'm gonna get
no.
something thrown at me. Thank God we're
Actually, no,
virtual.
you won't, because here's the thing. I'm so far into that I'm one of the apologists who said there was a time and a place for Comic Sans.
Oh, wow.
Misunderstood. It's misunderstood.
Yeah,
I feel
yeah,
bad for the designer, the typographer
yeah.
on that one. He
Okay,
gets a lot of flack.
yeah. All right, Ramona says that they're talking about the tamale cake. I'll
Tamales.
find it and send it to you. Mike says,
Yes.
"Tamales scare me. Do you eat the corn husk too, or just the filling?"
Mike, in the Great White North, Mike, no, you don't eat the corn husk, my friend. You take the corn husk off. You don't eat the husk, my friend.
The corn husk is just the
No,
cooking vessel, and
is you
then
cook it in the husk and then you take it out of the husk.
that's right. That's right.
It's
All right.
fantastic. And the little bit of masa that escapes in between the layers of the husk. Oh God. Like I said, I'm dying now. I'm so
Yeah.
hungry at this point.
Okay. I was gonna say Eric
So
may have to
bad.
leave early just so he can go get a
I'm gonna have to
tamale
have a
here.
tamale like today. That's not
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
That's not
You're like,
good.
all right. Well, thank God this is only a half hour and we cut it off. You can go get
Right?
that. Right?
I'm gonna die.
Um, all
Chili
right.
shortage.
I love it. Mike says, can't wait for the holiday rush to be over. We shut down between Christmas and New Year's. Looking forward to the
Yes.
break. Yeah. I
Yes.
think that's it. Okay. There's another good question for you.
Yeah.
Um, for everybody, right? I want to hear it.
Mhm.
Like, do you shut down, right? Do you shut down? Like, for example, two regular guys, small business Saturdays, the different stuff that I
Yeah.
do. Yeah. Where I'm going to take the 2 weeks off, right? That Friday, Saturday, Friday, Saturday. Um, so do you guys shut and then in your business, do you shut down between Christmas and New Year's? And what does that look like? What do your customers think of it? Anything you guys want to talk about around that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I think that the best thing ever with holidays for me, and I've recommended so many people do this now. We are way too late to plan this for this year, but for next year, when you're thinking about it, plan ahead. Do an event that has potentially some savings attached to it if you want to do that. If you're the kind of person who likes to do savings, and plan an event for your top customers to come in and select gifts early. Give them a vig to do it. And during that time, make your calendar and put it up on your website, put it up in your showroom if you have a physical space that tells people cutoff dates. The
Yeah.
best thing you can be with people is extremely clear about your usual cutoff dates. And then the second best thing you can do, I don't know, these are really competing, is to get people who have large regular orders in earlier and thinking earlier by proactively messaging them about it.
Yeah.
We used to do this at the shops I was at, and it was a fantastic thing to do. It
Yeah.
really did help things a lot in production. And honestly, we got better results because we could get stuff and things weren't running out. We didn't have
Yeah.
stock issues the same way. Now, this year is a very different year.
Yeah.
And these last couple years have been, but still, yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Well,
for sure
this year's going to be
preparation.
interesting with all that. I know, that
Yeah,
all of
yeah,
the carriers have their kind of cutoff times. I wouldn't trust it
yep,
from what I'm hearing. With it, like the e-commerce this last year for Black Friday was like the numbers are insane. And
yep,
therefore, like UPS is already slowing down. I know the
yeah,
post
yeah,
office is still saying that they're going to be, following their timeline, but the sense that I get is that that's not going to be true. I don't do a lot with FedEx anymore, but yeah, like I know people are like going, yeah, the UPS was supposed to be here yesterday, and it's going to be 2 more days now, that kind of thing. So, um, plan ahead. I agree with that. So
yep,
I'll put that on my list with the get the sound effect for next year.
yep. Yeah, we should have that show. Probably next year we should have a show pretty early, maybe in October, talking about holiday planning, so we can actually get people on board with getting their inventory straight, right?
Yeah.
And Christine
Now,
says
now
maybe
I'm
I'll have to
getting a piece
try.
of paper. Sorry.
There you
Go
go. Oh man, you need the.
ahead.
Terry was right. Where's our legal pads? We
Yeah,
were
I don't have a
wrong,
legal
Terry.
pad with me, but go ahead.
Christine says maybe I'll have to try and find a tamale hookup when I'm in Texas next year. Absolutely, Texas is okay. So here's where I make all the people in Texas mad at me. Texas is okay. You could get
Uh-huh.
a tamale there. No, they have fantastic stuff too.
Yeah.
New Mexicans are about New Mexican food above all. We're pretty rough. I won't tell the Texas, New Mexico, Arizona joke that makes all Texans and Arizonans hate us. But if you've heard it, you know.
Yeah. I love
New
it.
Mexicans can be unkind to our neighbors
Yeah.
sometimes.
That's funny. All right. Jeff says, Mike, the nerd from the north.
Indeed,
And Mike
indeed.
says, okay, I'm less scared of the tamales now.
If
And
I could ship you frozen bueno, it might have to happen. I'll define like we
yeah,
have a local place that's commercial tamales that are still pretty good. Maybe I can get you something shipped, my friend. That's a possibility. You and Christine need to be on like the tamale delivery service.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Jeff says, y'all are making me hungry. I believe me, like I said, as someone who's been dieting a lot lately, oh, this is killing me. This is too much.
Ramona says, Mike, I've always had that question too. Never understood this
Oh my
tamale thing.
God.
Man,
I'm missing my calling. I have to
yeah,
educate everybody on like on New Mexico food. It just needs to happen. And yes, I know tamales are not New Mexico food, but
yes,
but yes, my particular New Mexican experience of it.
yes, it's the Southwest there. All right.
There we go.
Christine
Yeah.
says, I'm thinking about what a friend and I call a hibernation week between Christmas and New Year's. Don't know if
Yeah.
I'll manage it, but I'd like to try. So there you go.
I function a lot more like Mike says as well. I tell people we're shut down, but I'd be lying if I don't do a couple of things either for fun or whatever. But I don't plan to do catch up. Officially, it's time off for us. A lot of the businesses I've been in, we worked, but the doors were closed, and that was enough. Like we were fulfilling, we were doing last minute stuff, and the best customers ever could always call their reps and end up with a couple of stockings or 15 more shirts or whatever else because our best customers are our best customers.
Yeah.
But we would close the doors.
Yeah.
And also say this as someone who works e-commerce, you're never off.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have
Yeah.
all the hours to work, like Terry says. You have the
Yeah.
freedom to work all of the
All
hours you
hours
want.
and every day. Yeah, for sure. And
All of
and
them.
it
Yep.
but yes, I do still think that, we need to look at it as time off, the recharge. I mean, heck,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
probably need to do an inventory, a physical inventory count,
Time to take
preparing for
stock.
taxes, things like
Oh
that.
yeah.
You kind of get that the craziness of the fourth quarter for a lot of us, right? Hopefully you're
Yep.
also kind of keeping a list of the things you need to work on for next year.
Yep.
And then it's that week for me is time to kind of sit down with that list and go, okay, here's all the things. I know I can't do all these things, but what's going to give me the
Totally.
most bang for the buck? And let's start going, okay, first quarter, I'm going to want to do this. Second quarter, I want to do this.
Oh, and definitely cutting off some of the interaction during that time is fine. I
Yeah.
think that's the
Yeah.
best thing is to say, all right, no new business And that's a good way to go. You know, it's like,
Yeah,
no new
for sure.
business right now if
For
I can
sure.
help it.
All right. Christine's going to come visit you in New Mexico.
Hey,
Uh,
I believe so. Yes. Anybody who's coming through needs to grab some New Mexican food.
yeah. Yeah. Jeff says the take up, learning New Mexico foods, the tamale. Yeah. Yeah.
As a large person who's trying to not be so large, I don't necessarily know if I want to have a food channel. I know I look like a chef, but unfortunately, not so
Yeah.
much.
I know, but you said you missed your calling. So,
I'm just saying it looks like people need this education in the world, my friend.
yeah,
There's
I
better
hear
people
you.
for it. There's people
Yeah.
who are in better communities for it than me, but
Well, you got
still.
to connect those communities somehow. All right. Christine says that's my
Yep,
problem with what I do. Totally straight out probably isn't feasible. Just doing
yeah,
a bit less is the goal.
for
I
sure,
like
for
that.
sure.
And Christine says, and yes, Aaron is right. It's also time to set goals and figure out what needs to go or stop. And
Hmm, hmm.
Brent says, we are stacked this year. We will be working through the holidays. Hopefully next year we can work in a week off. Congrats on
Oh,
the busyness and having that much
fantastic,
work to do. Yeah.
fantastic. Best problem to have.
Yeah.
Though, Mike, you're killing me, dude. Oh my God. Mike
You
says,
should.
have you ever embroidered a corn husk? I will
Just
credit you once after I do this.
personalized tamales. I see it now.
If any of you know in the embroidery community, this is real. If you're not in the embroidery community, about embroidered toilet paper.
Ah, yes, that
This
was
is a real thing. The
applique
first time you see
getaway,
it.
right? Yeah,
The first time you see it,
I saw it
it
there.
is weird. It's been around for a long time. You put a piece of stabilizer behind the first couple of sheets and fold them over, and then they roll them up and wrap them up in cellophane as gifts, so that people have a lot of them are like housewarming gifts, or it'll be. I've actually seen it done commercially for real estate.
Cool.
But the concept of embroidering a thing that doesn't really need to be embroidered like that. But I'm saying right now, oh my gosh, I think I may have to be the person who makes the first embroidered tamale because that is ridiculous, man. I don't know how to make that safe or
So,
good, but that's
yeah. Well,
hilarious.
yeah, the corn husk anyways. So just
Oh,
embroider that
that's
thing
so
up.
fantastic. I just need to
I,
do an extra wrap on the front of things. Honestly, I should just do one and wrap it like a real tamale and put it in the front of a gift box. Oh, Mike, anyone who's listening from New Mexico who does gifts, you're wrong if you don't think you should. This is a good
was
idea.
gonna say if you're gonna be
This is a
sending out
great
tamales
idea.
for people to try, I think
Oh
personalizing them
my
is the way to go.
God, that's fantastic. Mike, you brilliant man.
And yeah, if you could put the OSG logo on mine, Eric, that would
Oh,
be appreciated.
that's
Yeah, thank you,
hilarious. That
thank
is
you.
so good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, the TP saying very popular in the craft industry. That's awesome.
As we know from Terra Cones, we will give Mike credit once, and then
That's
forevermore
right.
it's our
From
idea.
there, it's our own. Yeah. Christine says, yes, we have a live demo embroidered toilet paper for the virtual
See?
applique getaway. A lot of people had fun with it. Yeah, I'd never seen that before, so I thought that was pretty fun.
And yes, of course, for everybody who doesn't know what it is, no, you don't use it. Of course. Come on, people.
Yeah, exactly. And and a personalized corn husk is a great idea. So I
That
see
is
that next
wild,
year's
man. Come on.
applique getaway. Eric teaching
Personalized corn husks.
personalized corn husks.
I'm
It's a
just saying,
very
people are doing
small
like paper
niche.
cards. They're doing paper
Yeah,
cards right now. What would be the huge difference, right?
yeah, not much.
If you're stitching on cards right now, I mean, there's no reason why you couldn't use the same light running embroidery on a corn husk. It's something I never thought of though. I can't believe I never thought of it. Mike's killing
Yeah,
me here, but that
yeah,
is hilarious, man.
that's good stuff. Awesome.
Well, and that's the thing. One of the things we do with seriously, yeah, David says tamales will be a hit in Arizona too. Absolutely. Plus, what's hilarious about this, it's novelty. As much as everybody's like, "Oh, nobody want that." You don't nobody needs an embroidered roll of toilet paper, and I've seen people selling these hand over fist at craft shows. Holiday
Yeah.
toilet paper sayings, it's ridiculous how many people put those out for parties. Obviously, you're not gonna use it. Obviously, it is decoration entirely, but it's like,
So,
people want it. It's
so let me
hilarious.
Let me think through this here. Okay. So I put the decorated roll on the holder and then the one that people can use that just sits on the sink or that's what I'm trying to
Other way
think through
around.
in my
Other
head.
way
Oh,
around.
okay. All
They're
right.
in a cellophane wrapper on top of the toilet tank almost always. You see people doing pictures of
Ah,
these
so
things
you have to
all the
do it
time.
so that wording goes this way instead of on
Yes,
the
so you set it
side.
sideways. It's in a usually they're in cellophane with a bow on the top. Now people do other versions of this, but yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I got
You'd
it.
be surprised people selling these things like crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mike, you've created a monster,
So,
my
yeah,
friend.
this is on you,
If I
Mike.
don't do
So
it,
sorry.
somebody will at this point. It's out in the universe and it's your fault.
Yeah. Yeah. So the class could be decorating your food wrappers. That's not a bad idea. So there
I
we
used to
go.
do furoshiki, you know, like the Japanese wrapping, like the fabric wraps that they do instead of
Yeah.
for carrying stuff. I did those, and I did embroidered furoshiki for years for gifts, so people would keep them afterwards. and reuse
I
them.
just had another great idea for
Yeah.
all those people that hoarded toilet paper during COVID and still have it. This is the way they can get rid of it. They
Buy
get
an
somebody
embroidery
to
machine and
embroider.
take a class from us,
Yeah,
and we'll
that's right.
get you to get rid of those hoards. I mean, now that we can forgive you later as you become embroiderers.
Yeah, you have to give us a cut for us to forgive you, and then.
Oh
Uh,
man. All right.
all
So
right.
yeah, program. So we go from community pats on the back to embroidered tamales and amnesty for toilet paper hoarders.
Oh,
Good show, dudes.
th- thank you
Thank
guys
you,
so
Aaron.
much for showing up for this craziness. We love you. We'll
Love you,
see you
man.
next week.
See ya.